just wanted to upload a video to hold myself accountable for these 2024 reading goals. Been doing a little bit of goal setting, making sure that I try to project into the new year what I want to happen. I am trying to make sure I read more books. I have been reading way more physical books this year than I have in past years. I'm definitely was a fan fiction girly, but I wanted to go ahead and start reading some more books after I read the storied life of J.R. Fickley in 2021 or whatever, like got promoted in Barnes and Nobles. I think it was the end of 2021. I must have been. I started buying books, but I have not been going through them as fast as I've been buying them. The ones I'm going through, I am liking them, but I wanted to try to branch out a little bit. Um, so I put some reading goals. I'm going to try to read 52 books by the end of the year, and I am qualifying those as chaptered books, um, not just novellas and not just manga because those I blow through so fast. I want to try to challenge myself so I can try to get over that mental hurdle of reading longer books because when I'm holding a book in my hands and it's this big, it's kind of hard to. I can't really put my mind into that space sometimes. When I was reading Master of One, I had COVID and I had nothing better to do, and I still felt so intimidated for some reason, even though I was really enjoying the book. So yeah, I want to read 52 books. I want to at least 10 of those to be nonfiction. I have been listening to a couple more nonfiction audiobooks. I've really been liking them. It's a great way for me to like listen to it when I'm going to and from work, when I'm just going around doing dishes, or when I'm in the middle of a very like drama heavy book. I can just kind of take a break, hear about real life drama, which is somehow easier and yet also more and more terrifying. I do want to read one book from each continent. And that's just kind of, I really don't like reading memoirs or biographies. I'm sorry, it's so boring. It's so boring. I can't listen to someone talk about their life for so long. I end up hating the person a little bit, but I do want to branch out, read more stuff I'm not comfortable with, read more story formats I may not be comfortable with, like short essays, poetry books, stuff like that. I haven't really definitively set what I want to read from each continent yet. I just kind of wanted to see if I can get recommendations. I've been following a lot more international booktube people, so I'm hoping maybe that anything that they say sticks out to me. Um, I do want by the end of the year, so this is more towards the later half, no more than 30 books on my physical TBR. I do always have like a list of books in my notes app that like I want to buy, I want to read, I want to check out more information on or anything like that, but no more than physical 30 no more than 30 books physically on my TBR. And then I do want to read 5 classics. Classics, I now that I'm a couple years out of high school, I feel like I'm finally ready to dive back in and actually enjoy classics. And now that I'm about to turn 23, I can like feel my prefrontal cortex like starting to form and like think critically about things. So I feel like it's like a great time to actually like try to go back in and think. Um, it was Cassandra Claw. Read The Salt Grows Heavy by her, and that was the first book in a row. I was like, I have no fucking clue what she's saying, and I want to look up questions about this book. So I'm thinking maybe that will help me a little bit because after I read the book, I journaled so much about it, and it made me feel so much happier, even though I had absolutely no idea what was going on. By the way, I am reading out of my Hello Kitty journal from Marshalls. And then I got the Hello Kitty planner to go along with it. And then to help that though, I did want to participate in Chantel Reads All Day, I believe is her name. I actually haven't seen any videos by her before, which is typical. I really watch the same like 5 YouTubers, and I'm trying to branch out. But she had a prompted list that had 2 sides. You can switch over a couple times. I think I did switch over twice. I have some books here that I think I'm going to read for the prompts. But again, I am moving. I really have no idea like what I'm going to want to read and be in the mood to read. So I'm gonna let myself change them out. These aren't like set, and I could, the one for October I might want to read, in February, and then I'm gonna read something else for October, so and so. But for January, I started off on the Montgomery side, and it was a book with a cat on the cover. So I chose The Goodbye Cat by Hiro Aratawa. This is translated by Philip Gabriel. He also translated her other book, The Traveling Cat Chronicles, which made me absolutely sob. So, a great start to the year is that I know I'm going to be crying over this book. Um, on the Montgomery, the second one was Puff Sleeve, so it's any book more than 300 pages. And I actually picked this up today with the Barnes and Noble sale. America's Black Capital. It's about Black Americans settling into Atlanta and how Atlanta has grown into this mega capital that is mostly run by Black people, and kind of the historical ties to other Black communities that have been terribly uprooted. I'm from Savannah, Georgia. I've been to Atlanta a couple times. I know a lot of people from Atlanta, so I definitely wanted to pick this up. It was very interesting. It's normally like $45 because I know I've seen it before, but the price always turned me off. So when they had the hardcover sale, I knew I was going to pick that one up. The third one is Kindred Spirits, a book with two POVs, and I could not, for the life of me, find if this was just two POVs. I hope it is. I don't have anyone in my life that's like read this, and I couldn't find anything online. I went through like 19 reviews. I went on Wikipedia. I just kind of looked. I know that there's at least two POVs in here. I don't know if there's more. So if it ends up changing, I'll switch books, and this will just be another book I've read. I've had this on my TBR for so long because it reminded me of the story life of J.R. Fickley, because they were also people who knew each other before they dated, and they worked in a bookshop. And but then I think I read like 2 pages, and honestly, I hate these romance covers that are so popular right now. I cannot wait until they fall out of style and all these romance books gets reprinted with like very nice covers, because this reminds me so much of like corporate art. Like I feel like I'm looking at a Publix ad. I can't stand it. I switched to Doyle for April, and redheaded protagonist is going to be this lovely book, Carry On. Yeah, the Carry On series, Rainbow by Rainbow Rowell. Um, I have started this book at least 5 times, and I keep on putting it down. I have not gotten past chapter one. Spam just walked in front of the camera. I have not got past chapter one. I really want to. It sounds interesting. I read a lot of Harry Potter fan fiction. I just watched Saltburn. I love that kind of era of angsty teenagers and their later teens at a boarding school or at a college. I don't know why I haven't gotten into it. I really just need to give it a chance. So a lot of these are ones that like I have started before, and I need to finish, and I need to like put the conceded time and effort into finishing it. But the next one is a new to me author, and this is one that I have not started yet. This is If You Could See the Sun by Anne Liang. I picked this up because the cover's pretty. But I like picking up books with pretty covers, but I do always read to make sure I think I would like it. I'm not someone that can just like I can't read things that I objectively don't like. So I thought this was an interesting concept, but it was like one of the books I first bought after I went back to book buying. And I just had picked up so many other books that I really liked at the time that this one just kind of fell on the back burner, and I haven't really been in the mood to read anything yet. Um, I also know there's like a lot of tones with family and stuff in here, and I was going through like a bit of like a family drama thing, so I was like, I don't necessarily think that's the most healthy thing for me right now. But now that I'm past that, I've processed my emotions. I can read it. And then is on the June, it is science fiction, but the prompt itself was The Lost World, and I thought the only thing that would make sense is Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne. I got this Barnes and Noble's exclusive cover. I, despite being named after this man, have never finished a story by him. I own 4 different books. I need to just go ahead and read one. I don't really like Jules Verne's like it just it's something about the time period that he was writing in and how he writes it as an author that I just can't get my teeth into it. It's not even that I don't understand what's happening, it's just that I don't care. So I'm hoping that I can change that, read through all of this, because I just need to get it on off my checklist. After that, I switched back to the Montgomery side, and my short story collection is going to be the classical fairy tales by Hans Christian Andersen. I was gifted these as a set because I was named after Jules Verne. My dad was named after Hans Christian Andersen. I have read some of these. The overwhelming Christian tones kind of throw off the story. I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes he will be going on this beautiful soliloquy about how trees are amazing, and then all of a sudden there's 9 paragraphs about God. And I don't even mind a lot of religious imagery. It just doesn't really fit in well. Like it doesn't connect. So I'm probably going to be reading them up to there, up to where? What month is that? July, just so that I don't try to go through all of this in 1 month, but I'll finish it off in July most likely. August was a water cover, and for that one, I got the Wicked Bargain. She makes everything so difficult in my life, but I love her so much. Look at her. It's the face of a monster. The face of a monster. She can't stand that the camera is not on her. Ooh, that's a weird angle. But the Wicked Bargain, it features a non-binary main character fighting off a evil pirate king who killed their father. I thought it was really interesting, but I was I was really obsessed with One Piece content when I picked it up, and I think that's the only reason I did is because pirates. It's not something I would normally read, but I wanted to give it a try. That's what this all is about. And then the next one is a book that heavily features music. I picked this is the story. I picked this book, Echo, a novel by Pam Munzo Ryan, and I picked it up because we were doing Secret Santa at 3 jobs ago. We were doing Secret Santa. I drew this girl. I knew that she read. I looked at her. I asked, struck a conversation with her and another hostess. I was like, hey, what's your TBR? I got sent her Goodreads. I got this off of her TBR is like pretty far down, so I knew that like no one else was really gonna find it in time. And then 3 days after it came, we switched from doing Secret Santa to White Elephant for some reason, and so I've just kept that. I've just held on to it. But I thought I looked it up because Echo Music. I was just gonna like try to like I was just gonna make it count for me because I watched Chantel's video and she said that you could like bend the rules. It's more about reading your bookshelf than is buying new books. But apparently this does have a lot of musical themes and they have a couple playlists that like they've pieced together from the songs mentioned in here. But it's one of those books that it's big and I'm intimidated and I haven't read it, so it's gonna be on here, and I will. Switching back to Doyle, I picked a free lunch, no such thing as a free lunch. How the wealthiest Americans enrich themselves at government expense and stick you with the bill. This I ironically got for free. It was sitting outside on this like bookshelf that a like church like they put a whole bunch of stuff up there to give away. I was like, ooh, that looks interesting. Pluck. But this was my pick for a nonfiction book. Um, it just looks interesting, but I have a couple other nonfiction books that I know I'm going to want to get through before October. So I was like, oh, let me just sit that up there. That I think is the one most likely to change because when I move, I feel like that is going to interest me. I don't have a reason for that. I just feel like it will. After that is an intimidating book, and for that I chose the Midnight Library. I picked this up again right after I started rebuying books. I started it on a plane. Bad, bad decision. I like immediately started crying and I have like a lot of like feelings about like missing out on life and like did I choose something correctly, and what if I chose something else, and what if I did this a different way? And this is like, hey, everything is bad. And I was like, oh no, okay. So it does intimidate me. I don't even know if I said that. This is the prompt is a book that intimidates you. So this book is very intimidating because I really wanted to have a happy ending. I don't know if it will, and I don't know if I'll like it. I really don't. So I will read it just to say I did. And then the last one for December is I stuck with Doyle, and it's a standalone book, and this is the Christmas Orphans Club. I picked this. I started it. I got 2 chapters in this year, and then I got way too busy with work, so I did not finish it. So next December, Christmas, and then I also liked it because standalone book, orphans standing alone. Even though the whole thing is about how the orphans come together, but still, why not? So those are going to be my picks. I am going to be posting to my audience of 0 people to keep myself accountable because I am a delusional booktube girly and I believe in me. All right.